Today we're going to be talking about the Serpent 3 step. Now, it's 3 steps. In other situations where you have something evil doing steps, like the Texas 2 steps, it's really 3 steps because the third step is the beast not having any self awareness. And when that beast doesn't have self awareness, you can easily trigger that beast. You can easily trigger it to go do what Jeffrey Epstein did. That lack of self awareness protects the beast. So, the beast would think there's only 2 steps and would always get surprised and sucker punched by the third step. Sucker punched into doing what Jeffrey Epstein did, self inflicting themselves into a grave or urn. And the first step of that Texas 2 of that Serpent 3 step, it was that stupid serpent having a proposition or thought with absolutely no forward thinking used. Again, if you're talking to the serpent to trigger it, you would tell it it's not using energy to forward think, and the brain would know what to do with that if it speaks English or any language monkey speaks. YouTube said you can call them animals because they are not people. So, when these things don't use energy to think, that alone proves it's not a person. There's no reason to look any further. It's just a stupid thing with fake feelings that's gonna start being like a baby to its parent, to the third step, a random adult who's not even related to it. When you can do that, that means you're not a person, and you're not going to be able to win on anything. You're going to get violent, like Osama bin Laden, but you're not even as good as him. You're a lower tier Osama bin Laden, like a monkey Osama with a baby brain, because you're too dumb to do what Jeffrey Epstein did, since you're not a person, and your fake feelings are just going to make it worse because you're not a person. So when you're that stupid, you're going to always not think. And the goal of not thinking isn't even a real goal. It's just to fit in with others. And fitting in is not a goal. like if you have to get a job to fit in, and you think it's better that others don't know it, but you know it, that means you looked at yourself, nothing was there because you're not a person. It's not going to be a way you can win. You're just too dumb to do what Jeffrey Epstein did because you're not a person. And it's your own fault because of that third thing I was talking about. No self awareness when you're not a person. You would never be able to say something to me that I haven't thought about. But doesn't that happen all the time to you if you're soulless and too dumb to do what Jeffrey Epstein did and trying to breathe like you're a normal person and no one knows how stupid you are and no one knows how fake you are. At best, you're just around bad judges of character who have the same fucking flaws and you can't even see it because you can't read character right since you're not a person. so when you're doing this Serpent 3 step, the next step is after you didn't put any energy like a person would put into thinking, you're doing it for a non goal of trying to fit in. You're going to try to get possessive about it. Not because you have feelings and you're important and as an individual. No, it's just because you're a dumb fucking animal who's going into territorial pride like every other animal. Or like a dog when it pees on a fire hydrant and barks at someone for like it made the fire hydrant and owns it. When it's so stupid, it don't even know if it's alive or not. When you're that fucking stupid, why would you think you're a person? Oh yeah, you don't think. So that second step is your dumbass getting mad. And an example is you can say someone's a dope fiend, and then you're doing it wrong because you're not compassionate like a person, but you're trying to fit in because you're trying to fit in because you don't have goals and you're not a person. Just every branch of the wrong tree being hit. Wrong on top of wrong on top of wrong because you're not a person. So you're doing everything wrong because you're not a person, and then you're doing something else wrong and hoping others don't see it and others don't call it out. You're going to put extra energy into being fake so they won't because you're not a person. And then your dumbass is going to try to get possessive about it because you don't know what people are doing. You're just a dumb animal in pain trying to be fake in front of others. That would never happen once if you were a person. That's not being human. If it is being human, explain how. Do you know when people say things, they can explain it always? It's not like a 2-year-old doing something for the first time. If an adult human with a soul, a person, is doing something, they would be able to explain it. Sometimes they may choose not to. And stop and breathe. If you would try to act like you're choosing not to when you can't, that means you are not a person. You're just going along in that serpent 3-step where you don't think you're just doing mindless stuff to fit in like a bee, not even a queen bee because you're worthless. So factually, when you're a human beast, you're lower than a queen bee, a fucking dumb insect because you're not a person. That's what they're making fun of in the Bible with the flood story. Because you're lower than everything on the planet. Even though you got a human body, you're just a failure. Because you're not a person. Every creature has room on a boat to moving forward and evolution and prosperity, except your dumb soulless ass. Because you're not a person. And you can tell you're not a person if you're doing a serpent 2-step. It's not like you were a person and then your personality had you doing a serpent 3-step or had you doing this dumb shit I'm describing. No, you're doing a dumb shit because you're not a person and you can't be helped from it. Anyone who would try to help you is someone that's dumb as you. And it's a catch-22 that hurts you because they can't help you. And you can even break that down. No one else is smart enough to explain it, but I'm going to explain it. Stop and breathe. How are they going to help you? Explain it. You can't. You're just hoping that they can help you because you're a dumb animal in pain because you're not a person. And you're so dumb you don't understand how this serpent 3-step hurts others around you because you're so in pain. You're just worried about getting right. Getting to that equator first. The equator, being a baby. Basically, when you're soulless, you think that you could be selfish and be a narcissist as animal narcissist. It's not real narcissist because that doesn't exist. It's just a dumb animal who don't know what to do. Any narcissist is a dumb animal who don't know what to do. So it's just an animal narcissist. So the reason that happens it's afraid. It's afraid of others seeing how undeveloped it is because it's below the equator. It's below the middle part of what a baby with a soul is. So it's thinking it has the right to be selfish. If that's you, you're not a person, and you're too dumb to do what Jeffrey Epstein did. If you're thinking about me, number one, you won't be able to say anything I haven't thought about. That would be the first step. And being a serpent, too dumb to do what Jeffrey Epstein did, you're thinking that somehow it's normal for someone to say something and you're surprised to hear it because that's a part of not being a person. So with this serpent 3-step, the first step again, no thinking with beliefs, opinions, anything. There's no thinking behind it and it's just doing it to fit in. But then after it goes wrong, stupid beast is going to do something stupid and get possessive about it. Like, it actually used energy to thought about it and had good motives and wasn't a selfish, retarded thing being fake in front of others because it's worthless. It's so stupid it thinks if others don't know it's being fake, then it's winning because it's a half-thinking piece of shit that's not a person. That's why it's that stupid. So it's being fake in front of others and it think if the idiots who don't matter, because they don't matter because they're a bad judge of character if they're not saying what I say. They're a bad judge of character who can't see through a retarded thing that don't know it has a lame duck life and it's doing too much of its breathing. The minimum. Because it's not a person. And it's thinking it's going to develop like babies feel because it don't have real feelings. But that's not going to happen. Or it wouldn't be in this position as an adult. That's what it looks like to not have a personality. So it start going into sour grape mode, and that second step of the serpent three step, where it's like a sour grape poop it pants baby. You're not a person if you think that's a personality. If you can look at someone who's doing that, because first of all, you're not going to be smart enough to know they didn't use any energy thinking, because you're a fucking dummy too. If you can look at it and think that's a person, like if you can stab it in the eye and care, then you're not a person. You can test yourself with that. You can look at retarded beasts going through poop and pants baby trying to get competitive about opinions that didn't even use energy to think about. You can know you're not a person. If you can imagine it being stabbed in the eye and you care, that means you're not a person. Because it's just a big flab of flesh and bones and junk just moving around with the feelings of a baby. Nothing unique because it don't have a personality. And if you can't tell that, then you're not a person either. It's not going to be a person later. That's just what babies are programmed to think, like a computer. It's thinking it's going to get right later, and there's no details to it, like if it had a soul and was actually alive. None of that is going on. So that all comes to fruition at the second step of the serpent three step, where it didn't use energy to forward think. It's just a big selfish retard trying to fit in with others, like a low tier bee. It would try to get competitive, like it has real feelings. Too dumb to know anything. Just the ignorance is making it move because it's so fucking stupid. Which is why you can say it's designed by Satan. It's just so stupid. It's moving because it don't know anything. It would even try to stop someone from talking so it can live in a world of not knowing. When you're that stupid, where this is the key phrase for any soulless stalkers or soulless religious nuts. This is what's going to make you in more pain. You were trying to stop the pain because you're stupid and evil and backwards and not on the flow of God's logical world because you would never be a person. And all you did is ran into something and heard something that would make it worse. Where you're an idiot who's so fucking stupid. You would try to stop someone from talking so you can live in a world of ignorance. Because you're running on baby pills thinking you're going to get right later, even though there's no logic to it. Because you are not a person. You would never be a person. And all of that comes to fruition when you jump the gun and try to have an opinion to fit in. Your own brain knows you didn't use any energy to forward think about it. You can't think. You just do what others do. And think if you do that long enough, stop and breathe and see how the next part is like a baby. If you do it long enough, then you would get complete. Yeah, that's what it feels like, and you're what it looks like to not be a person. It's very simple. After someone smart explains it, you're a fucking dummy who don't use any energy. You got selfish, backwards motives. You don't know how to have an identity. You just copy what others do. Like if someone's in a tie or or like N words trying to put gold in her mouth, where you see real billionaires. They don't have goat teeth and try to put gold on everything. Put gold on the car rims. They're basically an idiot, like a dumb animal. Where if you hire a bear to work in an office, it would try to eat the computer. These idiots put gold in their mouths because they're not a person. When you're a dumb animal, you're just doing stuff to fit in. You're not doing stuff because you have real thoughts. So, with that second step of the serpent two step, it all comes to fruition. The baby. And it should be a silver stench that creeps folks out like a sour grape baby going crazy. Like a dumb animal. Even though it's supposed to be in a human body. Where it don't care if it's right or wrong. It don't even know the right or wrong side. It just don't want to feel bad. That means you're not a person, and anyone who would think you can be helped isn't a person either. Because they're too stupid to be a person. That's a dangerous stupidity that can hurt others. Where it's so stupid, it can hurt others because it's so one-sided and it's thinking. It's a half-thinking loser that can't think right, and it's not a person. Just like animals aren't people. So you can even trigger it worse, rightfully, because then it ain't did anything different than animals. A rat is just born because their dumb rat parents had sex, and stupid overwhelmed rat with no personality except a baby rat forever until it dies, pops out. Just like soulless monkey. Just like these idiots getting water hosed where they want white people to feel sorry for them and want the government to be like the mommy because it can't think, only baby feelings, and want the mommy to make the friends and brother be with them. Stop and breathe. If you want someone who don't want to be with you to be with you, aren't you a stalker, like a celebrity stalker? Like I always say, because you're not a person and you just don't think. That third part of the serpent three-step of no self-awareness. Why would, if someone don't want to be with you, go live your fucking life. What would stop that from happening? No. I'll tell you what. Looking at themselves and nothing being there because it's not a person. So now, whatever it sets its eyes on, it want to grab. That's why you would probably see me doing some shit that seems insane. But if you feel that way, you're probably not a person because it doesn't affect you. Unless you're blood related to me in a real way, it doesn't affect you. But not being a person, you had that third part of the serpent three-step where you had no self-awareness and triggered yourself to do what Jeffrey Epstein did because you did something wrong. If you think someone has to always tell you something is wrong, that's stupid. Because people use logic. They're not like in Africa where you see some African creature in a Hitler outfit walking around doing wrong shit that it don't know is wrong. That's not happening in human society. It's the same logic as too many chefs in the kitchen. That shit ain't happening in human society. It's non-intuitive stuff like fixing a car or a computer where you have to go to school, and it's intuitive stuff like understanding your feelings like you should do by the time you're able to walk and talk at 2 or 3 as a toddler or 1. If you can't do that, it's not going to happen later because you're not a person. And if you're thinking everybody had to agree, like these idiots getting water hosed on this video, you're not a person. Because let's go over it again. If you want someone to be with you who don't want to be with you, you're not a person. You're like a celebrity stalker. Don't go kill John Lennon. Have some dignity and do what Jeffrey Epstein did. Because you're not going to get better later. Because all of these idiots getting water hose are like that guy who killed John Lennon. Where they say, I kill him because my baby feelings make me think I'm the most important thing in the world. I bet he even sounds like that. My baby feelings make me think I'm the most important thing in the world. So everybody's saying John Lennon most important thing. Me jealous. No person ever gets jealous. And then me say, me shoot him. But me such a coward. Me can't even do it until someone else says it's okay. He said it's okay when he signed my autograph. Me shoot him. Because that idiot took a trip to New York and we're just sitting there 3 days on a bench in front of his apartment and couldn't do shit. Right to this idiot signed his fucking stupid record. Then he suddenly get the courage as soon as he come home to shoot him. Because isn't that like N-words? When liberal white folks try to gentrify their neighborhood, then any white MFer come, the stupid N-word is going to go hurt them. They're trying to be a big man in the community. After reality comes in, and then everyone looks down upon them. But monkey don't know that, because that's how Satan designed it. Can make mistakes with full confidence. That's how you know someone isn't a person, too. And it's always going to come after a mistake. So the reason after this stuff, because even you're supposed to be shooting these idiots with bullets when they're violently protesting. Like, if they're burning down their neighborhood, they're going to burn down the shitty convenience store, the only place they can buy milk, because no grocery store want to invest. When motherfuckers are that fucked up and crazy and violent, then you shoot them with bullets. But why did they shoot them with water hoses? Let's think. Because it's evil liberals. At Kent State, it was some white kids protesting, and they did what they were supposed to do. Because this ain't fucking India, where they don't have no fucking rules and it's backwards, like Gandhi had to do. Protest. You could go find out who to complain. You go find out who's the boss of someone, and you go there. If you need help filling out paperwork or knowing where to go like a fucking baby, then you're a failure as an adult. So I'm not even saying I'm not saying it's right or wrong because I'm a person. When you're soulless, you have to put your personal beliefs in everything. My personal beliefs is that motherfuckers deserve to get shot at Kent State. But you would never know that unless you asked. I would just say, well, yeah, these evil liberals, because that is all true, shot these white kids protesting at a college, and they were shooting. They're shooting violent motherfuckers. These motherfuckers at Kent State weren't even violent, but I still say they should get shot. But they weren't even violent, and they're shooting them with bullets, and they're shooting these crazed animals burning down their own neighborhood and trying to get folks to help them like retarded babies out of control. It's like attacking the evil grown babies. The oversized babies are attacking folks. They're shooting them with water hoses and rubber bullets. Why? Because it's evil liberals. The same motherfuckers in different time periods and different tools that put muzzles on the Africans at the beginning of the slave trade. When these idiots saw the progression and that glitch that God put in all of their brains when they're soulless, where they just want to do what Jeffrey Epstein did, they start jumping off the slave ships. These were new slave ships. Think about how you're not a person if you're thinking, if everything just blend together. You're thinking about after 400 or 500 trips and they don't clean it and it smells like shit. No, at the beginning of the slave trade, they saw the fancy clothes, they saw the development like the ships, they saw the technology, and it broke their brains and they started jumping off the ship. They didn't even want to eat. They wanted to starve themselves to death because that's real. A beast that's not a person would get their feelings hurt to death. That's why Diogenes references it in Greek mythology, and where he wished he could have the philosophical powers to just make some asshole trying to treat him like a territorial landmark to go and self-harm. It is why you see it again in the past in the slave trade, where when the ships were new, not stinky, and they were getting better food, that they were getting sharing water and hose with animals and running around naked, chunking spears at each other. They saw the development, and then they wanted to jump off the slave ship because of the same reason every human beast has, where it's not a person, and that third step is just waiting, where it don't have self-awareness, and it's going to get sucker punched with something that would cause his brain to do the right thing and stress it to death. Because it is not a person. So let's think. These idiots, instead of just letting them do that, because you just let them do it because you're not God. You don't know every angle that monkey is going to go. So you don't touch anything. You don't tell that monkey, that animal, anything. And YouTube says you can't call you an animal because they have a training. And they said, yes, you can call humans animals. So you worthless, so you animals. In my opinion, you're worthless. Maybe you're not, and I'm wrong. But you animals, when you're not a person, would get triggered, and that can never happen to a person because a person's soul would just cause them to immediately develop. So that's another way you could tell someone isn't a person. When they go backwards like a child, like when they start giving those, like those sour grape kid feelings, but with words in it too, that means it's not a person. Especially if it's this 3-step I'm talking about, where the first step they put no energy into something, have a sloppy, primitive point of view because it don't understand how to have goals like a human. That alone means it's not a person. And then this next step is it's always going to give that me. I love it Friday when that motherfucker had his bike taken by Debo. And he's trying to get help from Craig. You don't get the help and just run off with his arm swinging like a fucking kid in his head now. Because that's what I'm talking about. But they do it doing inflections. They try to play it off. It would never happen if it was a person. The first step wouldn't happen where they just say something without using any logical human standards. We're just a dumb monkey just saying shit. We're thinking it's supposed to pee on opinions or pee on beliefs to feel strong. That means it's not a person. And then that second step, it can't even stop from doing it no matter how hard it tries. And it's you that proves you're too dumb to be a person too if you can't put your finger on it and detect it when it's happening in front of you. The second step of the sour grape kid. That would never happen if it's a person. That's not having human skills. If it's having human skills, how? How is acting like an animal baby having human skills? It's obviously you didn't think about it, because this is the next truth. The formula for being alive is and being a person is I think, therefore I am. It's not that I'm in pain and now I'm reacting with baby feelings that's all inside her, so is me. Because when someone's soulless, they are just like a robot running on that baby programming where they think, I got to get right. And then, getting right is everything. It's like, I got to get right. Maybe I find a wife. Maybe I get the job like folks I see on TV. But me, if that's you, you're not a person. And you're just too dumb to do what Jeffrey Epstein did. But that third part of the Serpent 3-step is no self-awareness. So there's not going to be any self-awareness where it goes to do what you see on the news, even if it don't get caught, where it tries to kill someone else. Stop and breathe. Retarded animal. If you had to look at someone else, then you've already lost. You wouldn't have to do that if you were a person. once your fortunes are tied to someone else, where you got to bring them down, like that guy that shot and killed John Lennon. Once your fortunes are tied on someone else, that means you're not a person, and it makes up a lot of you trash bots in the ghetto who are middle class, who are peasants. And I'm talking about born middle class. I'm not talking about no new money loser who think they made it because they got a lucky lottery ticket win at a right time or something. If you can't repeat it, then it doesn't matter. But I mean, if you're a peasant middle class loser, chances are you're not going to be a person. That's just the way it goes. That's the way the numbers go. So when you're that stupid, you're going to think it's normal. Because you think majority rules, because you don't think like a human, you think like an animal. Animals think majority rules, which is why they can't invent anything or do anything creative or important. So your dumbass is thinking everyone in your shitty community were, whoa, isn't that like a bee? Where the bee think the beehive is a whole community and everything else has got to sting and fight. So just everything is around us, the whole world. If you feel like that, you're not a person. So that's always going to be at play. So then that's going to make them think majority rules instead of logic. It's like they're thinking in 1979, they're thinking, they don't have cell phone and I'm Putin. I don't have a car phone and I'm Putin. In 2013, when an idiot who gets elected wrongly start giving everyone fucking free phones, then they get a cell phone and now it's important. If you can fall in that psych profile, you are not a person. It's that simple. And then what's the next step after you hear that? Now you don't have any logic like a person. You would try to pass logic to fool. That doesn't count, using energy to be fake, because that only happens when you look at yourself and nothing's there, and now you're looking at someone else, and now you're trying to play up to their level. That's creepy. That's why you also do what that idiot who killed John Lennon do, and try to hurt someone else. Like I said earlier, anything I do don't affect your soul's ass. If it does, there's no way you can win on that. So you would see me doing some interesting stuff that I would probably even say is crazy. And if you let someone next to you know, because you look at yourself and nothing's there is the only reason for that, then you've already proven you're not a person. And you're just too dumb to do what Robin Williams, Judas, Jeffrey Epstein, your friends who are smarter than you, who you think your dumbass would brighten up their day, but you don't even know how to read character right. You're just a fucking idiot. Who they just tolerate it, which is why they did what Jeffrey Epstein did before you, because they're smarter than you. Whoever you want to think about. It's already too late because life isn't a game. And if not, do what a person can do it and explain without any energy to exaggerate. Oh shit, you don't have self control to do that because it takes a soul to have that control. Where you would try to do something that don't even matter and be fake in front of someone else to get them to say yes, like a good cop or good parent. Shit that don't even hold up under a second look. Shit that don't hold up under scrutiny. The technical way to say it. When you're that dumb, you're not a person, and anyone who tries to help you is just wrong. It's the truth. Beep-a-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-boo. Ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-boo. Ba-dee-boo. How do I stop this shit? What the fuck? Did I go too long? What the fuck? I hate. Look at this stupid app. Oh my god.